Greetings, YouTube. This week's review, Moonraker, starring Roger Moore as, of course, James Bond 007. Now, let me break down the differences of the book and the movie. In the book, Hugo Drax was supposedly a British war hero, only to turn out he was impersonating a German spy who, since the Battle of the Bulge, was impersonating a British guy, basically posed for so many years. And the Moonraker in the novel was a cruise missile. Talk about an excellent plot for the novel, which honestly I think was better than the movie. So, but of course I'm gonna review the movie too. So, with Bond, I'm a bit of a huge Bond fanboy, so I'm gonna, so yeah, it's currently my top fandom. Now back to what I was saying. Also, in the book, in the differences between the book, try to say the differences between the book and the movie, is that in the book there was no Corinne Dufour or Holly Goodhead. I mean, in the book, the Bond girl in the book was some chick named Gala Brand. That's a weird name, and good thing they scrapped that idea. That would have been a hard sell for movie audiences. While the movie, like how the book was basically a Nazi retaliation for losing the war, because in the book versions, Bond was a World War II vet. The movie, on the other hand, well, no, just happens to be 007, when 007 goes to space. Talk about a hilarious concept. And a movie that actually featured the first movie to actually feature a space shuttle, which was 2 years before NASA actually launched one, developed and not launched one, was the first space shuttle launch was in 1981, and Moonraker was 1979. And also, this one marks the final appearance of Bernard Lee as Admiral Miles Messervy, aka M. Fun fact, if I hadn't mentioned in a previous video, that actor Johnny Lee Miller, just happens also is Lee's grandson. And of course, some difference in the movie. It was about a theft of said space shuttle, which just turned out to be a false in movie version of a false flag. And you got to give it to Michael Lonsdale as for playing Hugo Drax. And I mean, that was one evil son of a bitch. I mean, he was basically like the closest you get to see him Bond fight Hitler. I mean, think about it. Drax was a rich industrialist who had shot places who just happens to be in development of space shuttles and munitions. And also another difference is the characters Jaws and Chang, who was Drax's ninja guard. And I can say that was one bad son of a bitch, because especially in the matches of Bond, the match where Bond actually fought him in Venice. In that final showdown in the Glass Museum, Clock Museum, right when Bond threw. Sorry for the spoilers. And of course, you got to give it to Q Branch, because this movie actually had the most out there gadgets. And of course, with locations like San Francisco, surprisingly, where Bond meets helicopter pilot and first love interest according to before Drax sends a pack of dogs on her for knowing too much. And then, which showed a skeet shooting scene before when Drax and Bond meet up and get all formal and such. Which is pretty much the only time Bond ever fires a gun in the movie. Sorry for that spoiler. Which, which I can say with Roger Moore, it had to take a lot of shots because he personally had a fear of firearms, or what psychologists call hoplophobia. And of course, back to what I said about the Q's gadgets. I mean, come on, that scene where Q teaches Bond about bolos, which is what gauchos use as a weapon. Explosive ones and of course the laser pistol test. And then you get, of course, the wrist gun, that little wrist dart gun that 007 uses throughout the movie. And which, as Q says, activated by nerve impulses from the wrist muscles. And of course, another excellent scenes were some boat chases. One in Venice, where Bond had a tricked out gondola, which starts pursuit after Hitman kills the so-called whoever operates the gondola, whatever they call it in Venice. And of course, when it goes on land and becomes a hovercraft. And then of course you get that scene where and of course there's that scene where Bond's in Rio doing the chase to Drax's lair, and he's chased by Jaws and other Drax mercenaries. Talk about, gotta give it to Roger Moore. It was the best boat chase scenes in Bond films. And of course, I already mentioned that the character, how different Bond's been, but the girls in the books, like Galibrand in the book, was a terrible, wasn't a convincing sell, but gotta give it to Bond with hilarious names for his love interest, like Holly Goodhead in this one. I bet. And of course, the ultimate Drax's space station. Talk about some epic fights in there, and especially when Bond gets in Dr. Goodhead, who just happened to not only be a NASA scientist, but was also a CIA agent. Which, surprisingly, when it comes to CIA and other times when Bond goes to America, how they not managed to put Felix Leiter in the movie version. I mean, that was like plenty of good opportunities, should I say. And of course, the whole plot of this plant, odd flower I can't pronounce right now, which triggered this deadly nerve gas that Drax wanted to use to cull the population, because movie Drax was a total eugenicist. I mean, he was basically saw himself as the next Hitler. But we all know how that goes. And then, well, I was going to scratch that because that'd be another spoiler, and I don't want to give away too much of the movie for people that hadn't watched it. Overall, Moonraker gets a 5 out of 5. Although I personally like the book better, but But hey, in my opinion, there's no such bad Bond film yet. There hasn't been a bad Bond film yet. That's why it's been a most successful long-standing franchise in for 50 years standing. Enjoy.